Hello, good morning, all of you. Today I am going to tell about the ear. So, when you see the ear, in this you have to know it has divided into the three parts: external ear, middle ear, and the internal ear. So, this ear they will ask for the short notes for you. So, first we see the external ear. So, main function it collects the sound and then it's sent to the tympanic membrane. So it is divided into the two parts, auricle or pinna, and second part is the external acoustic meatus. First we see what is the meaning of auricle or pinna. First point, it is trumpet like. Entire pinna except its lobule is made of a single piece yellow elastic articular cartilage. Auricular cartilage is continuous with the cartilage of the external auditory meatus. It has a two surfaces, lateral surface and the medial surface. You can see the features present on the lateral surface is a scaphoid fossa. Then it has a Darwin's tubercle. It presents a helix. Then it has a triangular fossa, crux of the helix, cochlea, lobule, tragus. So these are the important parts of this auricle. Clinical aspect of this auricle, the failure of the fusion of tubercles will give rise to the accessory auricles. Arterial supply of the external ear by the superior auricular artery, middle auricular artery, inferior auricular artery, and on the posterior surface by the superficial temporal artery, posterior auricular artery. All are the branches of the external carotid artery. Venous drainage by the superficial temporal vein and the external jugular vein. Lymphatic drainage of the external ear is divided into the anterior part, which is drained by the preauricular and parotid group of the lymph nodes, posterior by the posterior auricular or occipital group of the lymph nodes, and inferior by the external or the zugulodigastric group of the lymph nodes or the deep cervical group of the lymph nodes. Nerve supply of the external ear or this auricle or pinna. Motor supply, all the extrinsic and intrinsic muscles of the auricle are supplied by the facial nerve. Sensory nerve supply by the auriculotemporal nerve, auricular branch of the vagus nerve, and the great auricular nerve. Then we come to the second part of the external ear is external acoustic meatus. It is not a straight tube but it has a typical S-shaped course. Outer part is directed upwards, backwards and medially, but the inner part is directed downwards, forwards and medially. To examine the external auditory meatus and tympanic membrane, the pinna is pulled upwards, backwards and laterally in adults. In infants, it is pulled downwards and backwards because in infants, the bony part of the external auditory meatus is not developed and tympanic membrane is directed mainly downwards. Parts of the external acoustic meatus, the total length is 24 mm. It is divided into the cartilaginous part and the bony inner two-third part. Skin covering the cartilaginous part is thick and contains the hair and the ceruminous gland which secretes the ear wax. Infection of the hair follicles leads to the folliculitis developed only in this part. Skin lining the bony part of the meatus is thin and continuous with the cuticular layer of the tympanic membrane. It is devoid of the hair and the ceruminous glands. Then we come to the next is the middle ear. So middle ear is a part of the ear between the eardrum and the oval window. The middle ear main function, it transmits the sound from the outer ear to the inner ear. So these are the parts of the middle ear. First is the tympanic membrane. The three bones, one is the malleus, incus and the stapes, eustachian tube, oval window and the round window. In these tympanic membrane and the eustachian tube, they will ask for the short notes for you. So first we see what is the meaning of the tympanic membrane. First point, it is a partition between the external acoustic meatus and middle ear, placed obliquely making an angle of 55 degree. Lateral surface of the tympanic membrane is concave and faces downwards, forwards and laterally. Medial surface is convex and bulges towards the middle ear. It is a thin semi-transparent membrane, oval in the shape. Length is 9 to 10 millimeter and width is 8 to 9 millimeter. The structure of the tympanic membrane has three layers: outer cuticular layer, middle fibrous layer and the inner mucosal layer. Parts of the tympanic membrane, it is tympanic membrane, when you see it is fits into the tympanic sulcus with fibrocartilaginous rim known as the annulus tympanicus, and with handle of the malleus it divided into the two parts. Upper part is known as a pars flaccida and the lower part is known as a pars tensa. So this diagram you have to draw when they asking the tympanic membrane. Clinical aspect, perforated tympanic membrane. Then second part of the middle ear is a eustachian tube. It is a trumpet shaped channel. It is 4 centimeter long, directed downwards, forwards and medially. The tube is divided into the bony part and the cartilaginous part. Communication of the middle ear cavity with the external. It equalizes the air pressure on both sides of the tympanic membrane and the tube is usually closed. It opens during the swallowing, yawning and sneezing. Clinical aspect, infection may pass from the throat to the middle ear through the auditory tube, more common in the children because the tube is shorter and straighter in them. It equalizes the pressure of the both sides. Unequal pressure both sides in common cold. In flight at height, air pressure is less. So unequal pressure can be painful due to the pressure on the tympanic membrane. That's why chewing gum during the flight helps in opening the auditory tube. The last part is the internal ear. It is also known as a labyrinth of the ear, part of the ear that contains organs of the senses of hearing and equilibrium. So what are the parts of the inner ear is vestibule, semicircular canal, cochlea. So these are the three parts you have to know. Semicircular canal helps in the balancing of your body and the cochlea, vestibule for the hearing. So this is all about the ear. So thank you very much.